Okay, everyone, welcome to our study session on August 18th, 2025. Yes, my voice is a little bit better than last time. Appreciate that. Councilmember Adams is participating by Zoom, and all other council members are present. Councilmember Adams, do we have you on?
Yes, sir. Hear you loud and clear.
Thank you, sir. Item 1 is to review the agendas for tonight's council meeting as well as for August 25th. I know you went over tonight's agenda Thursday, and are there any additional questions on that agenda first, and then we can move over to the 25th? Sometimes silence is golden. Mr. Smith.
Mayor and Council, if I could just clarify one thing on this agenda, and it's items 9A and 9B. If you look at the language regarding staff recommendation and P&Z board recommendation for 9A, it says adoption. And then for 9B, it says for recommendation and it says approval with conditions. Those are just flipped. The zoning case, 9A is approval with condition, and the general plan is adoption. It doesn't affect the vote tonight, and the vote by the P&Z board was 4-0 on both of those, but just for clarification for the record, I just wanted to point that out.
Okay.
That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. As well as, I think you mentioned, as well as voting tonight, we could either keep them both together, or if the council wanted to separate the two, we can do that as well.
That's true, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Council, any questions for tonight's meeting? Okay, with that, we'll move over to the 25th.
Mayor, if I could, on the 25th, just wanted to clarify that since we distributed the agenda, item 3A was a recommendation for denial for the liquor license. The applicant has resolved those issues, and so the recommendation for denial is being removed.
Okay, and that's for the 25th.
For the 25th, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Ed's going to clarify what I just said.
Sorry, it's an odd one. So the zoning issue that they have is not going to be resolved. It's an inconsistent use for that zoning area, but they are aware of that, and they say they will resolve that. So they've resolved the fire safety operational permit issue, the outstanding debt to the city. So that is allowing us to move forward. Zoning alone is not a reason for us to recommend denial to the liquor board. So we're going to move it ahead with recommendation for approval. They can go to the liquor board, get their license, and then they'll have to resolve their zoning issues before they can actually open an establishment here.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I do have a question on that.
Go ahead, Mr. Adams.
So can you be more specific about the conflict with the proposed use and the existing zoning?
I'm looking at Mary, but I don't know if she's up on this one, but we can get that to you before next week.
I think you have backup coming.
Oh, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. The proposed business location does not meet the current development standards. And is considered legally non-conforming. Trying to see if he stated why. Zoning.
Okay, we have another help. Another lifeline.
It's a long closed gas station, isn't it?
Mayor, Councilmember Adams, that is correct. It's a former AM/PM gas station there on the southwest corner of University and Lindsay. It's a legal non-conforming site, meaning it doesn't meet the development standards. And it's been closed more than a year, so any new development that goes in there would need to address those non-conformities. So there's likely some zoning work that would need to happen with this site before it could be occupied.
But those are not specific to the liquor board's decision about the license, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, but he can't open until he takes care of the zoning?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, council, any other further questions? That's on the 25th. Vice Mayor.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Don't have to address them all tonight, but let's start with the big one. 5C, Sienna Ridge PAD amendment. I don't have an issue necessarily with this use. We've already zoned it, I think, last year or two for this use, but what this is asking for now is a reduction in garage size. Vehicles are getting bigger, they're getting longer, and parking on this site outside of garages is fairly limited. I think there's about 15 or 16 spots, if I counted correctly. And now we're talking about some fairly substantial reductions in the garage size. Why on earth, with cars getting larger and this site being where it's at against the freeway, and there's no transit here worth a darn, so this is not a transit piece like near downtown where I could see possibly shrinking it. This is a car-centric area. Why are we shrinking garage sizes?
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor Summers. That's a good question. So you're right, this was rezoned in 2023. They're in for permits currently, which is where this issue came up with the garage size. It is a reduction in the garage dimensions. There are two, and I'm happy to give the presentation if you guys want it, or if you just had questions, whatever is better for the council.
Probably just cut to the garage size part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here are the deviations. There are 4 plans total. Plans 1 and 2 have a width of 19 feet 2 inches, a depth of 20. The plans 3 and 4 are a little bit bigger. They're 25 feet in width and 20 feet in depth. The code requirement is actually 20 by 22. So the width on 1 is under. It's pretty close. The 20-foot depth, what I would say is it's in excess of a standard parking stall. A standard parking stall is 9 feet by 18 feet.
But it doesn't have a garage door, for one, and garages typically store other things like water heaters, that type of thing, so you have to make space for that.
That's correct. So they've rearranged the floor plan a bit to get the water heater in a part where it doesn't impact the overall area of the garage. You are correct. That 22-foot depth was intended for storage of things, which is why Mesa's standard depth of a garage is a little deeper than in other communities. Staff looked at it in totality. I think we have less concerns with plans 3 and 4 because they're 25 feet wide, so we still have some storage abilities on the side of the garage. 19 feet by 20 feet is, I don't want to call it a standard deviation. We've done it for Blandford in the past. There are, I think, ways to design it where the impacts could be a little minimized, I would say. There is some guest parking on site. There's also parking on 90th Street.
Yeah, it's then when you start to bleed into 90th Street and creating parking overflow. I don't want a public street to be part of a private development's parking plan.
Sure.
That's the concern I'm going to have with this. I mean, you said ours is a little bit larger of a standard for garage size. Where does this fit with what other communities do in comparison?
I can, Mayor, Vice Mayor Summers, I can do a bit more research before the next council meeting.
That would be fine. We don't have to answer that here.
A 20-foot depth is actually a pretty standard size for a garage, is what I would say. But I'm happy to look at some other communities in the area and give you some data on what that looks like.
Yeah, and when you look at I'm getting a little close, this is hard to tell. That's the problem with these graphics. But you can see there's a little bit of parking up on the top. There's some parking up, to the west. Yeah, thank you. There, behind the buildings here. But that's really it. And there's like one parking space down by the office, 1 or 2. And that's really it. So, people with everyday cars, I'm pretty sure the mayor isn't going to be able to park his truck in there. Mr. Heredia's truck isn't going to fit in there, right? And it's just, even on a good day, I'm a little concerned about the fact that we're shrinking parking. I think it's just going to create some issues, but I'll listen to.
Well, I'm just wondering, I'm trying to look at the neighborhood makeup. Is 90th Street a street they could park on? Because I agree, like, that's why I'm always harping on parking, because if you don't park these developments well, they spill it into the neighborhood, and then we hear about it for years. So it's very problematic to the neighborhood. So I'm just wondering if these streets even make sense that they would overflow park on?
Mayor, Councilmember Spilsbury, yes. So 90th Street is a public street. It's county jurisdiction. It does accommodate for on-street parking.
And then, so is that, I can't tell from the map because it has, anyway, are those backyards or front yards of those houses that are on 90th?
On the east side of 90th Street, those would be front yards.
That is the front yard, so those are
Yes.
people's driveways.
Correct.
Any other, Ms. Duff?
I noticed on the submittal documents, there's a statement, it says the development team also wants to ensure it's clearly conveyed that although marginally smaller than city's code standard, our proposed garage will accommodate nearly all passenger vehicles and light trucks. The 19 by 20 can also accommodate large vehicles, including full-size SUVs like a Ford Expedition or full-size trucks like a Ford F-150 Super Cab.
Mayor, so these will be private streets in here, right?
That is correct.
That are managed by the rental company developer.
Right, Mayor, Councilmember Goforth, that's
Yeah.
correct.
And then, typically we worry about overflow parking, I guess on city streets, but that impacts other communities, right?
Correct.
And, 90th Street, if they allow parking on it, right? It's allowed parking on 90th Street, is what
That's
you're
correct.
saying?
Yes.
Right, but just
Right.
because parking's allowed on a public street, do you want to make it part of their potential?
Is it public?
Is it a public or is it private?
It's 90th
90th
Street
would
is a
be-
public street.
Public, but not a
But a
City of Mesa
county.
Street.
It's
Yeah, county.
correct, it's a county.
I mean, you're still going to get the contacts. I mean, you have a right to park on a public street. I'm just saying, we're potentially creating an issue that requires people to park on a public street. And how much do you want to get into that?
And none of those neighbors across the street complained? Or you didn't get it, none of the citizen participation had anyone concerned about that, right?
Mayor, Councilmember Spilsbury, that's correct. We got no residents at P&Z, no emails, no phone calls.
Well, I guess what I would say is, we don't want to do these on one-offs. What's the standard in the code? Does it provide for most cars? If it doesn't, that's kind of where we need, I don't know that we need to pick on one development or the other necessarily. This is,
What I would say, Mayor, Councilmember Goforth, is that they are meeting their parking requirements. So the required parking is provided. Yes, I understand that the garage, they're asking for a reduction in the size, but the number of spaces is being met through the site plan that is shown here.
Yeah, but it's a difference. If you can park the cars in the garage, as the document suggests, then there's not necessarily an issue. But as soon as you get 12 people that live here that buy vehicles that are too large, they're going to try to park them in the street, in the guest parking, out on 90th Street. And again, I'm a little concerned that we set these standards and we're watching the size of our garages get smaller as cars get larger. And I know there's a development not far from where my daughter lives that's actually offering you the opportunity to make deeper garages because they realize that cars are getting a lot taller. You did offer to provide me some information on what some of the other standards are so we can make a comparison, if I can get that.
Absolutely.
Before this vote, and I'll figure out what to do next week.
And Mayor, Vice Mayor, if I can, we can provide that to all of the council so that
That'd
they
be
can
cool.
see
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
surrounding
yeah.
jurisdictions are doing. And Nana actually just provided me that, for example, Phoenix is 9.5 by 19, so even a little bit smaller than our standard sizes. But we'll get that summary table to everybody before next week.
Mayor, a quick comment.
Yes, Rich, Mr. Adams.
It seems to me that the argument for consistency makes a lot of sense to me. I guess we could argue all day long about, whether if I had a Ford Expedition, would it fit better than my Toyota Tundra or whatever it might be. But I think there's some legitimate concerns here, but I would fall on the side of a consistent policy or consistent minimums, and maybe it sounds like we have those, as opposed to having to weigh this every time someone comes along and says, well, I can throw 3 more units into this space if I can reduce the size of the garages. So the point I'm trying to make is, if we have reasonable minimum dimensions for the reasons that are being debated right now, maybe we should consider sticking with those unless there are really unusual circumstances. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Spilsbury.
I'm trying to see this information, but how many units is this?
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Councilmember Spilsbury. It is 29 units.
29 units. So each one of those units has a 2-car garage, or what they're calling a 2-car garage. And so then I counted on the map 16 guest spaces. Is that what you have? Like, what is this parked at?
They are, I think, just above their required 2.1 spaces per unit. And again, you kind of hit on it, that 2 is the garage, and then the 0.1 are the
Because
uncovered guest spaces.
that's why I keep asking us to look at parking codes, because you can say 2.1, but as soon as you make 2 of those be each units 2, then you are cutting those away from anyone else using them. And so I've never felt like the 2.1 is adequate for these anyways. So then if we're gonna make the garages smaller, anyway, I don't ever wanna do anything that's going to impact the surrounding neighborhood drastically like that. So I don't know. I think that's also, I don't know if 16 guest spaces are enough if we're not gonna really actually be able to fit 2 cars in each of these garages.
Let's pull from consent, please.
Evan, where is it? I'm sorry, the breakdown. Not all the units have the shorter amount. There's a certain number of units that are at standard.
It's the 25th.
Here, oh, it's on the presentation. Okay.
There are, Mayor, Councilmember Duff, there are four floor plans. All 4 of them have a reduction in the garage size, but the reduction varies. So actually, plans 3 and 4, if you look at the overall area, would exceed the dimensional requirements as far as area for garages. Plans 1 and 2 would be under.
Okay, so let's do this. Why don't you do your research, get back to all of us as mayor and council, and then we will evaluate that on the 25th and listen to some direction from the vice mayor.
Will do.
Okay?
Are we leaving it on consent for tonight then, since it's an introduction? Or you still want it off for the introduction, Scott?
Oh, no, introduction's fine. I'm not gonna
On
get into
consent?
that, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm sorry, next week.
Council, good with that? Mr. Adams?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Evan. Is there some other one you want to talk about? You're good?
He looks like he really didn't want to talk about this one.
Don't leave in such a hurry. Okay, with that, we'll move forward to item 2, is to acknowledge of receipt of board minutes. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Ms. Spilsbury. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. The motion passes unanimously. Next is current events and conferences attended. Council members, do you have anything you'd like to share? Okay, Vice Mayor.
Mayor, I'm going to just add one that I missed last week. The the 653rd Regional Support Group, which is an element of the Army Reserve, based out of Mesa Gateway Airport, had a deployment farewell ceremony. They are deploying to a CONUS assignment and left August 1st, so we wish them all well.
Yes. Ms. Duff?
Yes, Councilmember Summers and I also attended on Friday the ASU Congressional Dialogue Series with Andy Biggs. The subject matter was the urgency of SRM, small modular nuclear reactors, to power AI and establishing that within the state. And Director Scott Boucher also attended with us. And then last night I attended the Arizona Korean Association's 80th anniversary of Liberation Day. It's a national holiday in Korea that commemorates the end of 36 years of Japanese colonial rule from 1910 to 1945. There's many great speakers and performances. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Heredia, anything?
No.
Ms. Pillsbury?
This morning, we had a meeting over at Sunland Village HOA, which is on Greenfield. So they got an update from Kurt Albright and his team on our Central Mesa reuse pipeline. And just kind of an update, we're getting near, we're getting close, the end is in sight. So that was a really great meeting, and just I appreciated the staff coming out and helping that community understand better why the roads have been torn up for so long, so thanks.
Good. Ms. Goforth? All right. I'll just share, I attended a conference in Providence, Rhode Island on the Mayor's Institute on City Design, and talked about transition design here in our community. I want to thank Jeff Robbins. I showcased the old Mervyn's property and how that could transition into future development. So it was very interesting, and had a lot of urban architecture, design, transportation people as on our panel. Also, I moderated a water panel this Friday for the Mesa Chamber. Appreciate SRP, CAP, and our own Nicole there is in our discussion. And then I had a cultural experience Saturday night with I was a guest of India's 79th Independence Day from the India Association of Phoenix here. And it's quite the celebration, celebrating their independence for 79 years. So with that, Mr. Butler, you want to share future meetings?
Well, Mr. Mayor, Council, enjoy the League of Arizona Cities and Towns this week. If you're attending that in Scottsdale, we'll be canceling study session for Thursday morning. So we'll reconvene back here next Monday at 5:15 for study session.
All right, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Heredia. Ms. Goforth, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. We'll see you upstairs.